See, normally in such speeches we write scripts. And of course, for a speech that long, we write long scripts. But today I decided to ditch the script and speak from the heart. And a couple of weeks ago, 2 weeks ago exactly, I celebrated my 53rd birthday. Now, for some reason, my birthday jumped because last year it was the 25th only. And the year before it was the 15th birthday. See, this year I decided to accept the real number and not invert it. For one simple reason. Because through our lives, we go through things, through issues, through problems, through successes, through events that get us to mature. And maybe this year, finally, I started maturing. And I wanted today to share with you the story of my life. 18 months ago, I started with an icebreaker talking about me and myself and the way I was. And 40 speeches later, I'm talking about me, myself, my life, and hopefully your hearts. The 5th of September 1964 was born a little baby called Hatem. He was too sick to live, some said. He was too slim to live, others said. My family started preparing the room for condolences, except for the love of one lady, that before receiving the people to give her condolences, decided to breastfeed him for the last time. And suddenly he lived. And here I am. My grandfather, when he saw me reliving, said, let's call him Slim, which is healthy in Arabic. Well, ladies and gentlemen, let me share with you the first lesson I probably learned later, but that started that particular day. Everybody thought I was destined to die. Everybody except one lady that decided out of love that that was not acceptable. Fate is not necessarily our destiny. Destiny is what we make of it. Let's not confuse both of them. If we let fate drive our destiny all the time, and we're believing in it and I believe in fate, destiny is driven with the actions we do when we face things. Later, during my life, many people said, this guy cannot do sports. This guy is not smart enough. This guy is not able to work in international world. He cannot go far from his beloved mother. He cannot do things. Well, guess what? During my entire life, I've decided that they could say anything they want. I decide about my fate. I've done sports that many of you will be surprised I would have done. Yoga, horse riding, rugby, handball, you name it. I was not good at those sports, at most of those sports, but I did them. And by the way, whoever would tell me about any sports, I know the rules, except for cricket. Ladies and gentlemen, this is my first, I would say, advice to you, not lesson. Control your destiny. Then I lived with my family in a very nice place. We were rich. Rich as anybody can ever dream of. We were living in one room. My father, my mother, 3 brothers, and we had a maid living in just one room. That was part of the family house. And we were 3 families there. My grandmother, her maid, and an uncle who had 5 kids and a maid. You see, ladies and gentlemen, by now you would have understood that wealth is not measured with what you have in your pocket. We were rich here, and this is where it matters. We were rich in our hearts. And this is where it matters. We felt like the richest people in the world. And by the way, those who know, I have my boat. It started there in that particular room when my father dreamt and made us dream. Ever since we were 2 or 3, every single week talking about his boat that we will have. I was able to achieve that for him. And they were the proudest of the boat I got lost in. Ladies and gentlemen, after those 7 years, I started school. And you think I was among the best. Well, I was really among the best, but I have never been the best. It doesn't matter. It's better to be the worst among the best than the best among the worst. And by the way, I was lucky enough to be among the best. I was not even the worst, but I was not the best of the best. But who cares? My third lesson to you, if you notice, I'm going lesson after lesson. Stick with the best. The worst that could happen to you is to be best than many others. For 7 years in my secondary school, we were the class that everybody envied. I made sure I was among the 5-10 top. We were the class that passed year after year after year after year, and we passed the fatal, very difficult exam at the end of the 7 years secondary, and all of us passed. I was not the best, but I was among the best. Every time I strive to earn the right to be amongst them, and that made me better. Ladies and gentlemen, many people will have reasons not to believe in you. Let them get over it. You don't have to earn the respect of others. You have to earn your own respect. You don't have to have the people believe in you. Let them not believe in you. That's actually better for you. Just believe in yourself. And this is what I've done. Nothing for me was impossible. And by the way, I didn't bring it from myself. I remember my yoga class, we had this saying in the room that was saying, things that are impossible take months, sometimes years. Things that are difficult takes months, sometimes years to be achieved. Things that are impossible will take a little bit more. And I think whoever wrote it is a wise person, and I believed it. And I followed it in my life. And for now, nothing is impossible for me. Well, unless the world, God, whoever, would decide otherwise. Then I will get over it. And then pursue my life without regretting what happened in the past. Fifth lesson, dare to dare. Many of us don't dare, and many of us are scared of daring. Our friend Steve Jobs said it. The world belongs to those who dare. Unless you dare, you'll never transform ideas into actions, action into success. If you dare something that is really worth daring, nobody will blame you for it. But you'll blame for yourself for the things that you could have achieved and you didn't dare taking them. It doesn't matter where you are in life. The next lesson, don't forget your roots. Never forget where you came from. And by the way, for me, many of you have seen me always put this thing, I don't even know how it's called. I know it in French. Always on my chest. You always saw it with all the colors I would wear in shirts, but I have the red here. And for those who are wondering, today I'm unveiling it. Never forget your roots. You never know when you'll go back to those roots. This is the flag of my country. And no matter where I am, I consider myself a citizen of the world. But at the end, this is where I grew. And hopefully this is where I will die. Ladies and gentlemen, when we go through life, We go through life trying to earn a living. And we go through life working hard to impress, to earn enough to live, to get the others to live. Unfortunately, I realized it in 2003 when I stayed in ICU for over 75 days, sitting there meditating on my life. Out of hard work, I got very severe disease. And I discovered at that time that I spent my life trying to earn a living, and I almost died earning a living. Ladies and gentlemen, we go through life trying to live, not to die. So whenever you feel yourself, you're running after life, watch out, because you might be losing it. So don't die earning your living. Another thing that is important in life, and I discovered it when I lost one of the most important people in my life, my younger brother. A couple of years I didn't see him, and then he called me for help, and I said, don't worry, as soon as I settle back home, I'll see you. I saw him in the morgue, in the corner, to recognize him when he was dead. Ladies and gentlemen, in addition to the heart, if you don't care about the people who matter the most for you, when you discover it, sometimes they won't be there for you to care for them. As it happened to me, but as it happens to many of us. So think about the people that matter the most for you. Take care of them, because if you want people to care about you, you need to care about the people. When I was sick, sitting in that hospital for 75 days, my driver in the company came to see me, and he said, can I call my friends because they want to see you? I said, whose friends? Of course you can call them. 250 drivers came to ICU just to say hi from the window because they couldn't reach me. People I didn't know. People I used to say hi when I came into the parking as a chief commercial officer of major company, as the advisor for the CEO, as somebody, that person who nobody would talk to. Those guys are the guys I could rely in life. Care about the people, because if you don't care about the people, there will be times that people wouldn't care for you. And you don't want to be in those situations. Through life, we meet people. We have 40, 50 people in this room. Try to gather one idea from each of them. By the way, one wise person told me that. And he told me, if every person you meet in your life, you get one idea, one thought, imagine how many people you go through and you meet in your life. You never know where the good idea comes from. It would just take one good idea for you to succeed. And ever since, I went through life looking, thirsty for any idea. Whenever I see a speaker in Toastmasters that would just talk about themselves, I'll try to learn a lesson. At my age, by the way, at 53, not 35. I still cherish, look for the moment, run to listen to people, to earn just one idea. And by the way, if they say nothing interesting, I will learn actually what not to say. If they don't impress me, I will learn actually one or two things that would actually shouldn't be told in public. Those lessons pile up at my age in millions. Isn't that what is called wisdom? Now, wisdom is not about knowing everything. Wisdom is in recognizing those little ideas, those thoughts, and making the best out of them. Wisdom, by the way, is not about accumulating knowledge. It's about spreading it. This is how we recognize wise people. We don't recognize wise people by seeing them dreaming there at night. We recognize them by them sharing. That's the next idea I want to share with you. share. You see, in 2000, I was part of a company that came with this slogan that is very powerful: the power to know. The power to know is in itself a power. And unless you distribute that power, it's a useless power. It's just plain ego. So whatever you know, you don't know who might need that knowledge. Whatever little thing you can teach, you don't know actually who can benefit from it. So don't shy away from sharing it with the others. Now, one thing I wanted to conclude. In the beginning, I started saying, ditch the script. You see, ladies and gentlemen, we tend to think of our lives as destined because of fate, as scripted. And for us, we live just reading the script or executing the script. I'm not approaching religion here, but just think about it. Life, true that we might believe in fate, we might believe in destiny, but the real life is not scripted. The script, we write it. So if you focus too much on what's written, we get confused. We forget the script. Don't we, Toastmasters? We forget the script. So what do we say in Toastmasters? Speak from the heart. This is what stays. Live with your guts, with your heart. My friend as well, Steve Jobs, used to say, well, future, nobody can control it. We don't know it. So actually, our brain is not smarter or wiser than our guts in pursuing the future. So follow your guts. And one wise person in 1997 gave me this advice. Sometimes in life, we take irrational decisions. We take mistakes or things that would turn out to be mistakes later. Don't try to justify them. If they are irrational, just keep them in their irrationalism, if that word exists. But don't regret. Don't look back. Because if you look back, you get stuck in the past. If you want to pursue the future, make mistake, get over it, pursue your life, live, and speak from the heart as opposed to a script. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this was my life. 53 years that passed like an instant. And I'm looking forward for the next 53 years. Or if my fate or destiny decides one day or 1 hour, why not? I would have had a blast in my life. Normally, my plan was to exceed the time. Because those of you who know me, they know I speak to compete. And I compete to win. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen. But you know what? Winning the hearts, winning the friends that made it today, winning the friends that wanted to make it, that sent me those nice messages, is much more important than anything else. By the way, it didn't take me 40 speeches to achieve this. It probably took me 5 or 6 speeches to just start speaking from the heart. And today I just wanted to share with you some of those lessons. Over to you.
Thank you so much.